Chapter 953. Wang Jingyang. Lin Yin was startled when she saw Wang Jingyang. What is it? Wang Jingyang was still staring at his phone. Why are you here? Lin Yin was puzzled. Can't I come here to freeload? Replied Wang Jingyang. Lin Yin was speechless. Mom, why is Wang Jingyang here? Lin Yin walked to the kitchen and asked He Muyin. I went out to buy groceries today and bumped into Jingyang. He hasn't eaten yet, so I invited him over for dinner, replied He Muyin. Lin Yin sighed when she heard that. Wang Jingyang had come all the way here to freeload. Lin Yin returned to the living room and walked to the couch. She kicked Wang Jingyang's legs aside and sat down beside him. The couch is so small. Why are you squeezing into it? Wang Jingyang protested as he glanced at Lin Yin. Can you please put on your stinky feet? Lin Yin quipped. Stinky feet? Wang Jingyang frowned. My feet smell so good that I can even eat them. Pfft. Lin Yin rolled her eyes at Wang Jingyang. Tell me, why are you here? I have a strong motive. I'm hungry, but I'm too lazy to cook, so I'm here to freeload, replied Wang Jingyang casually. You're really shameless. Lin Yin looked helpless. Can't you find a girlfriend who freeloads every day? Girlfriend? Wang Jingyang glanced at Lin Yin and grinned. I'm all alone. I'm destined to be a lonely star. How can I find a girlfriend? Can't find one. Lin Yin grabbed Wang Jingyang's chin and turned him to face her. She scrutinized him carefully. Lin Yin, what are you doing? Wang Jingyang bellowed. Don't move. Let me take a look, replied Lin Yin. Damn you. Do you think you're visiting a brothel? The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched. TSK. Lin Yin couldn't help but sigh as she studied Wang Jingyang's face. If you don't talk, you'll be a top hunk. Really? What if I talk? Asked Wang Jingyang curiously. Talk. Lin Yin couldn't help but sigh. Your foolishness will make people forget about your face. If you speak, you're a fool. If you don't, you're a prince. Because of Wang Jingyang's silly aura, Lin Yin had neglected his face. It was a pity that she had given him this face. Coupled with his personality, it was a waste of a gift. Alright, from today onwards, I will be an emotionless killer. Wang Jingyang gazed at her expressionlessly. As long as I don't speak, I'm a cold-blooded boy. Look at me again, and see if I'm melancholic. Lin Yin was speechless. It was hopeless. Hey Lin Yin, based on my looks, if I were to enter the entertainment industry, do you think I would be popular? Wang Jingyang asked curiously before Lin Yin could reply. Lin Yin contemplated this for a moment before replying. If he's more composed, it might be possible. Hurry up and find a girlfriend. Don't waste your face. Lin Yin sighed. Didn't I tell you that I'm a loner? Whoever ends up with me won't have a good ending. Why do you have to harm others? Wang Jingyang grinned. Have you watched too many movies? Lin Yin glanced at Wang Jingyang. Lin Yin, why do you care so much about whether I find a girlfriend or not? Are you coveting my good looks? Tell me, are you coveting my good looks? Wang Jingyang frowned. Chapter 954. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard Wang Jingyang. She had to admit that Wang Jingyang had a vivid imagination. I'm not just interested in your beauty. I'm also after your money, replied Lin Yin. On account of our years of brotherhood, why don't I give in to you? Anyway, tigresses have a tough life. I'm a lone star, and you're a tigress with a tough life. We're a perfect match. What do you think? Wang Jingyang suddenly sat up and undid one of the buttons on his shirt. She had to admit that if Wang Jingyang hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have been so shameless. This scene could indeed mesmerize thousands of girls. It was indeed tempting. A second later, Wang Jingyang's wails echoed in the room. Lin Yin, damn you. You're indeed a tigress. Hey, don't pull my ear. Who are you calling a tigress? Doggy, you've grown up. Lin Yin sneered coldly. The grass on the grave of the last person who called me a tigress was more than a meter tall. I'm sorry. I'm a tigress. Wang Jingyang begged for mercy. Lin Yin only released Wang Jingyang when he begged for mercy. Lin Yin, I'm such a handsome man, yet you're not tempted. Do you dislike men? If you don't like men, just tell me. I'll change my personality. It's such a big deal. Wang Jingyang rubbed his ear. Doggy, don't tell me you really like me. I told you that I have a boyfriend. Lin Yin grinned. Ha ha ha. Wang Jingyang suddenly chuckled as his eyes darkened. To you, I'm just a witness. I don't have any romantic feelings for you. We're just friends. Lin Yan and Wang Jingyang's eyes met. For some reason, Lin Yan felt that Wang Jingyang seemed different now, be it in the way he spoke or the way he looked at her. Before Wang Jingyang could finish, Lin Yan grabbed him by the ear. F***ck. Lin Yan, what's wrong with you? Wang Jingyang exclaimed in shock. Why are you pretending to be so profound? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Wang Jingyang. Who's pretending to be profound? I'm being serious. Let me tell you, Lin Yan. Do you really think that I'm interested in you? Even if you strip naked in front of me, I won't be interested. Wang Jingyang gritted his teeth. Doggy, are you itching for a beating? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Let me tell you, Lin Yan. My feelings for you can only be described in a poem, Wang Jingyang said. My lover rode a bamboo horse and circled the bed with green plums. Living together for a long time, there's no grudge between the two. Who's your childhood sweetheart? Who's your childhood friend? How dare you say that you have no ulterior motives? Find out what this poem means, replied Lin Yan. Fine. I'm afraid of you. I'll be like a stranger to you then. I'll stay away from you, alright? Wang Jingyang said. Before Lin Yan could respond, He Muyin walked out of the kitchen with the dishes. Auntie Yin, look. You saw Chang Wei hitting Lai Fu the moment you came out. Wang Jingyang hurriedly told He Muyin. He Muyin's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as she frowned. Xiaoyan, why are you bullying Jingyang again? Mom, did I bully him? Lin Yan was fuming with rage. Clearly, it was this Lai Fu who acted like a hooligan first. His mouth was full of vicious words. And he even said that he wanted her to strip naked to see if he was interested. Look, was this something a human would say? Chapter 955. Aunt Yun, your daughter coveted my beauty. She hit me when I objected. Wang Jingyang snorted. Before Lin Yan could speak, He Muyin frowned and said, Xiaoyan, don't bully Jingyang. Lin Yan was speechless. She had no choice but to let go of him. Pop, just you wait. Wait and see how I teach you a lesson when we leave this house. Lin Yan whispered softly into Wang Jingyang's ear. Xiaoyan, what are you whispering about? Asked He Muyin. Mom, nothing. I'm just apologizing to Wang Jingyang. Lin Yan grinned. Aunt Yin, your daughter said that she will continue to beat me up when I leave this house, replied Wang Jingyang. Lin Yan was speechless. Xiaoyan, stop fooling around. Let's eat, said He Muyin. Okay. Lin Yan nodded. Halfway through the meal, He Muyin asked Lin Yan. Xiaoyan, how have you been recently? Instinctively, Lin Yan replied. Mom, don't worry about me. I'm fine. The team is doing fine too. Yes. Apart from work. He Muyin asked with a hidden meaning. Except for work. Lin Yan was startled, as she didn't understand what He Muyin was trying to say. Xiaoyan, did you offend anyone recently? Did anything happen? He Muyin asked after some time. Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard He Muyin. Many things had happened recently, but how could her mom know? Lin Yan instantly thought that it could be He Lufeng. Mom, don't listen to Xiaofeng. Nothing happened, explained Lin Yan. It has nothing to do with Xiaofeng. He didn't say anything, replied He Muyin. It wasn't Xiaofeng? Lin Yan was puzzled. If it wasn't He Lufeng, who else could it be? Wang Jingyang remained silent as he stared at Lin Yan. Recently, Wang Jingyang had been feeling very strange. He had been hiding with Lin Yan all these years, and nothing had happened. However, a few days ago, the thing that he had been most worried about had happened. Wang Jingyang suspected that someone had leaked Lin Yan's identity. There were two people who knew Lin Yan's identity. One was him, and the other was He Muyin. Wang Jingyang had suspected He Muyin, but after his investigation, this matter shouldn't have anything to do with He Muyin. However, if it had nothing to do with He Muyin, there might be a third person who knew. He had asked Lin Yan to come today, because he wanted He Muyin to probe Lin Yan. Perhaps she could find some clues. However, after searching for a while, there was still no useful information. Wang Jingyang suspected everyone around Lin Yan, including Pei Yuqing. No matter who it was, if he touched his bottom line. Lin Yan, you mentioned that you have a boyfriend. Is that true? Does he like you? Is he plotting something? You have to be careful. A moment later, Wang Jingyang chuckled. Lin Yin glanced at Wang Jingyang. Of course I have a motive. Can't I covet my beauty? Wang Jingyang fell into silence. Pei Yuqing was very dangerous. If he got rid of him, would Lin Yin be sad? Would she blame him? However, if he didn't do anything, this ticking time bomb could explode at any time. When that time came, no one would be able to stay out of it. Pei Yuqing's existence was the biggest obstacle to Lin Yan's survival. He had tried his best to stop the two of them from meeting each other. However, he had never expected that they would be entangled again and again. Chapter 956. Wang Jingyang glanced at Lin Yin from time to time. The current her should be considered happy. If she could continue to be happy like this, he could stay by her side. Unfortunately, for ordinary people, the easiest and simplest wish was an extravagant hope for him and her. Doggy eat. Why are you staring at me? Lin Yin was puzzled when she saw that Wang Jingyang was sizing her up from time to time. Wang Jingyang chuckled softly. Don't eat too much. What if you get fat? I'm happy if I get fat. It's none of your business. Lin Yin glanced at Wang Jingyang. Then Wang Jingyang fell silent. Such a simple life, and the smile that could be seen on her face, would probably become increasingly rare in the future. In the past, he could protect her for many years without any worries. However, Wang Jingyang couldn't be sure what would happen in the future. His whereabouts should have been discovered by now. From the bar woman, who had a high-level evolved being to the evolved beings last night, Wang Jingyang knew very well that their target was Lin Yan. However, only He Muyin and him knew Lin Yan's identity. Wang Jingyang couldn't be sure if Pei Yuqing had recognized Lin Yan, or if he had seen through her identity. If he had, the consequences would be dire. A ticking time bomb like this could explode at any time. Lin Yan, I have a question for you. Wang Jingyang suddenly glanced at Lin Yan and spoke. Spit it out, replied Lin Yan. Do you like your current boyfriend a lot? Or do you love him a lot? Do you care about him a lot? Wang Jingyang asked after a moment of silence. Lin Yan frowned when she heard Wang Jingyang. She studied Wang Jingyang curiously. Pup, what are you trying to say? Wang Jingyang studied Lin Yan quietly, feeling conflicted. Actually, he was to blame for everything. He should have tried his best to stop Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing's relationship when they had been overseas. However, Wang Jingyang hadn't expected Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing to get along so quickly. Fortunately, although Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing had been together for a long time, they had eventually broken up because of their personalities. Wang Jingyang knew that Lin Yan wouldn't be able to tolerate his possessiveness and suspicion. He had assumed that everything would come to an end after Lin Yan had completely forgotten about him. Who would have thought that Lin Yan would have forgotten about Pei Yuqing? In the end, the two of them would end up together again. This time, it was even more ridiculous. Pei Yuqing seemed to have changed a lot for Lin Yan. No matter what, Lin Yan couldn't be with him. Wang Jingyang was only worried about Lin Yan's safety. Lin Yan, what exactly do you like about him? Why don't you tell me? Who knows, you might discover that I have everything he has. Wang Jingyang grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang. I like him because he's handsome and rich. What about you? Wang Jingyang was taken aback when he heard Lin Yan. That's it. Isn't that enough? Lin Yan was more confused than Wang Jingyang. I have everything. Look at how handsome I am. Wang Jingyang laughed. Lin Yan was speechless. She couldn't refute him. Money. Wang Jingyang stroked his chin and fell into deep thought. All these years, he hadn't had much money. Chapter 957. Wang Jingyang, are you alright? What are you trying to say? Lin Yan noticed that Wang Jingyang was behaving strangely today. I'm asking you about him and I. Forget it. Wang Jingyang shook his head. I'm just joking with you. If your boyfriend treats you badly or bullies you, tell me. I will break his legs to vent your anger. I'm just afraid that your legs will be broken before I can vent my anger. Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang helplessly. Wang Jingyang was speechless. After she had her fill, Lin Yan left He Muyun's place and rushed back to the office. For some reason, Lin Yan felt that something was amiss during this meal. Her mother, He Muyun, and Wang Jingyang had asked her so many questions that she couldn't make head or tail of them. Lin Yin was puzzled for a moment, but she didn't think too much about it. Late at night, the bustling night had come to an end, and everything was peaceful again. Wang Jingyang stood by the side, his body hidden in a loose black robe. His face couldn't be seen clearly because it was late at night. Sir. After a long time another man appeared. He walked to Wang Jingyang's side and cupped his fists. At this moment, Wang Jingyang slowly opened his eyes and looked at the man in front of him with a smile that didn't seem like a smile. Sir, why did you summon me so late at night? Is there something urgent? The man lowered his head. Qin Huan. Wang Jingyang studied the man before him and asked, Has Pei Yuqing been acting strangely lately? Brother Yu. Pei Yuqing went to the Pei family's headquarters. Before that, Pei Yuqing's cousin Pei Zhe came and went to the Pei family's headquarters with Pei Zhe, Qin Huan recalled. Other than that, Wang Jingyang replied. Other than that? Qin Huan frowned. Sir, there doesn't seem to be any other unusual movements. Qin Huan. The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth curled up. How long have I allowed you to follow Pei Yuqing? Many years, replied Qin Huan. What do you think of Pei Yuqing then? Asked Wang Jingyang. Pei Yuqing? This person. At this point Qin Huan was slightly taken aback. He did not dare to continue speaking, because he did not know which sentence from this man would contain killing intent. Qin Huan, I've been targeted by my enemies for a long time. I'm afraid there won't be a day of peace here. You will only lose your life if you follow me. Since you think that Pei Yuqing is a good person, we will have nothing to do with each other in the future. Just follow Pei Yuqing wholeheartedly. Wang Jingyang glanced at Qin Huan and sighed heavily. However, as soon as Wang Jingyang finished speaking, Qin Huan instantly knelt by Wang Jingyang's feet with a thud. Sir, what do you mean by that? Did I do something wrong? Qin Huan's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Qin Huan, you don't have to be like this. You and I are master and servant. No matter what, our relationship still exists. What I have said today is from the bottom of my heart. Wang Jingyang smiled bitterly. Qin Huan narrowed his eyes and sized up Wang Jingyang without batting an eyelid. Unfortunately, Wang Jingyang was wrapped in a loose black robe, so only a pair of eyes could be seen. Wang Jingyang's eyes were calm, and it was impossible to read any information from his eyes. However, at least one thing was certain. Qin Huan believed that Wang Jingyang was in trouble. Perhaps what he had said today was true. Chapter 958. Sir, if you need anything, I, Qin Huan, am willing to risk my life for you. I don't know who your enemy is, but just give me the order, and I'll be ready to die, Qin Huan said solemnly. However, before Qin Huan could say anything, Wang Jingyang's expression changed, and he looked around. At that moment, Qin Huan's expression changed as well. What a strong mental oppression! Qin Huan looked around cautiously. It's my enemy, Wang Jingyang said. Instantly Wang Jingyang was astonished. His enemy was so powerful. What kind of spiritual evolved human was that? Sir, you go first. Qin Huan stood up immediately and said to Wang Jingyang. What a joke. You think you can hide behind me? Wang Jingyang looked at Qin Huan and sneered. Before Qin Huan could speak, the ground shook as if a natural disaster was coming. In the next second, the place where Wang Jingyang was standing collapsed. Qin Huan saw that Wang Jingyang's legs were gripped tightly by a pair of pale, giant palms. No matter how hard Wang Jingyang tried, he could not escape from the giant palms. Almost instinctively, Qin Huan sucked in a cold breath. He looked at the monster hidden deep underground in disbelief. What kind of monster is this? Qin Huan's expression changed suddenly. Even though Qin Huan was an evolved human, he had never seen such a strange monster. Mutated evolved human. Wang Jingyang gritted his teeth. Qin Huan panicked. How could he think about mutated evolved human? All he could think about was what he should do. Qin Huan, save me. In the next second Qin Huan, whose face had turned pale, heard the sound of bones breaking. Wang Jingyang's legs had actually been broken by the monster underground. Sir! Qin Huan's eyes turned red. He took out a dagger from his waist and leaped to Wang Jingyang's side. He stabbed the dagger at the pair of giant palms. However, Qin Huan's stab caused the surrounding scenery to shatter like a mirror that had fallen from the sky. Everything was like a dream. When Qin Huan came back to his senses, he looked around. Wang Jingyang stood in the distance unharmed. The ground did not collapse, and the so-called monster was nowhere to be seen. Qin Huan's face was filled with shock as he subconsciously looked around. What happened just now? It's an illusion, Wang Jingyang said after a long while. Illusion? Qin Huan was slightly taken aback. Qin Huan, if that dagger of yours helps me, this illusion will disappear. However, if that dagger of yours stabs me. The corners of Wang Jingyang's lips curled up slightly. In reality, you will use that dagger to stab your neck. Sir, you doubt me? You don't believe me? Wang Jingyang stared at Wang Jingyang dumbfounded. Wang Jingyang chuckled and shook his head. I've never trusted anyone. Yes, sir. Qin Huan put away his dagger and nodded. I want you to kill Pei Yucheng, Wang Jingyang said after some time. Qin Huan shuddered at Wang Jingyang's words. Why? You can't bear to part with me? Wang Jingyang asked. No, sir, it's not that I don't want to. It's just that given my abilities, assassinating Brother Yu, Pei Yucheng would be akin to committing suicide. I don't mind dying, but Pei Yucheng is a suspicious person. I'm afraid that he will investigate you, sir, Qin Huan said hastily. End of this chapter. Chapter 959. Wang Jingyang's mission was simply impossible for him. Others might not know, but he knew very well how terrifying Pei Yu was. Wouldn't he be asking an ant to devour a tiger if he were to kill Pei Yu? You're telling the truth. In that case, leave Pei Yu to me. You can deal with the tale you brought. As soon as Wang Jingyang finished speaking, his smiling eyes landed on a spot not far away from him. The tail? Qin Huan broke out in cold sweat and immediately looked in the direction of Wang Jingyang's gaze. What are you waiting for? Wang Jingyang hissed. Swoosh. Almost instantly, Qin Huan disappeared from where he stood and reappeared more than 10 meters away. Stay here. In the darkness, Qin Huan heard a voice and immediately fled. He immediately blocked it and struck out with his palm. The figure flashed and dodged Qin Huan's attack. At this moment, Qin Huan finally saw the face of this tail. Xing Chen, what's wrong with you? Qin Huan was shocked when he saw that Xing Chen was following him. Qin Huan. Xing Chen glared at Qin Huan coldly. How dare you betray Brother Yu? That night, Xing Chen had come looking for Qin Huan to discuss some matters. However, when he saw that Qin Huan was acting suspiciously, he decided to follow Qin Huan. Xing Chen had not expected to see such a scene. He found it even more difficult to believe that his brother, who had been with him through life and death, had become a traitor. Stop talking. Qin Huan shot Xing Chen a look and opened his mouth. Although he didn't say anything, Xing Chen could read Qin Huan's intention. He wanted him to escape. Cut the crap. Qin Huan, you and I are brothers. I won't pursue this matter with you today. Let's work together to capture the person behind you and hand him over to Brother Yu. I will help you keep your secret. If you don't agree, we will be enemies, Xing Chen said coldly. Idiot. Qin Huan was panicking. Was Xing Chen out of his mind? Capture Wang Jingyang? What kind of joke was that? Who did he think he was? Kid, are you going to capture me? Wang Jingyang, who was hidden in his black robe, had arrived. I don't care who you are. You won't have a good ending for plotting against Brother Yu. Xing Chen glared at Wang Jingyang. Oh. The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth rose slightly. Then, what are you waiting for? However, Xing Chen's expression grew increasingly solemn. The man in front of her, whom she couldn't see his face, clearly didn't seem to be that simple. Immediately, Xing Chen took out the evolved person identification device that looked like a phone. F-class. Xing Chen narrowed his eyes as he looked at the number on the device. This man was only an F-class evolved human? He is just an F-class evolutionary. Even if you join hands with Qin Huan, you have no chance of winning. Xing Chen was relieved. Qin Huan, your friend wants to kill me. Hurry up and deal with him, Wang Jingyang said expressionlessly. Qin Huan, I hope that you will repent and not repeat your mistakes. Brother, you has been good to us. Xing Chen glanced at Qin Huan. Qin Huan was silent for a moment when he heard this. He immediately walked forward and blocked Wang Jingyang's side. Wang Jingyang, forgive me for not being able to comply. My life was given by this lord. Without him, there would not be a Qin Huan. You and I should each serve our respective masters. Qin Huan, you know that you are no match for me. Don't court death. Xing Chen hissed coldly. Xing Chen, cut the crap. If you kill me today, I won't blame you for being inferior. Do it. Qin Huan whipped out a dagger. Chapter 960. Alright, you said it yourself. Xing Chen hissed. Qin Huan, don't blame me for being so stubborn. Meanwhile at Cloud Manor, Sister Yan. Ling Yan, who was stroking the cat, was startled by Ling Yu. Ling Yu. Lin Yan frowned at the panting Ling Yu. What's wrong? Calm down. Sister Yan. Save. Xing Chen. Ling Yu's eyes reddened. Huh. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Before Lin Yan could respond, Ling Yu passed the phone to her. It was a video that Xing Chen had sent her. In the video, Qin Huan was talking to a man in a black robe. The scene changed. Qin Huan asked, Xing Chen Yu, how did this happen? Xing Chen replied, Qin Huan, how dare you betray brother Yu? At this point, the video had already ended. What? What happened? Ling Yan was shocked. Xing Chen found out that Qin Huan betrayed brother Yu. So he sent me this video. Something serious must have happened. Sister Yan, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that Xing Chen won't be able to come back. Ling Yu replied. Is Qin Huan a match for Xing Chen? Ling Yan asked with a frown. I don't think so. Ling Yu shook her head. However, we can't be sure of the black-robed man's identity or what rank he is. 2 against 1. Xing Chen will definitely be in trouble. Sister Yan, please get brother Yu back. I'm afraid it'll be too late. Ling Yu's eyes were misty. F***CK. Ling Yan gritted her teeth. Why are you still shouting? He's at the Pei family's headquarters. Even if he flies back, it'll be too late. What should we do then? Ling Yu panicked. I'm familiar with this place. Ling Yan fell into deep thought. Although Ling Yan didn't know what had happened, she was certain of one thing. Xing Chen must have met with some kind of danger. Ling Yan dialed a number. Speak. Xiao Yao's voice rang out. Boss, this is an emergency. A life is at stake. Ling Yan replied. Boom. A deafening sound broke the silence of the night. Qin Huan was sent flying by Xing Chen's punch. Qin Huan, I've said it before. You're no match for me. Xing Chen glanced at Qin Huan. Qin Huan's face was pale as he clutched his chest. Xing Chen's gaze landed on Wang Jingyang's side. Now, do you want to come with me? Or do you want me to break your limbs and take you with me? Wang Jingyang stared at Xing Chen and smiled. Well, little guy, you're pretty strong. Little fellow. The corner of Xing Chen's mouth twitched slightly, and his gaze instantly turned cold. You're courting death. Qin Huan's expression changed drastically when he saw Xing Chen attacking Wang Jingyang. Don't. Xing Chen, stop right now. You will die. As Xing Chen punched out, Wang Jingyang stood in the garden, not moving a single step. Seeing this, a look of disdain appeared in Xing Chen's eyes. He was just an F-class evolutionary. How could he avoid his attack? He was very curious as to why Qin Huan was with such a person, and what was he plotting with an F-class evolutionary. However, all of this was no longer important. He would try to persuade Qin Huan, but brother Yu would deal with this man personally. Xing Chen's punch was extremely powerful, and the sound of wind breaking could be heard incessantly. Xing Chen was confident that the man in front of him would only be half dead. Chapter 961. Xing Chen. Not far away, Qin Huan was furious. He had underestimated his opponent. He had underestimated Wang Jingyang. That man, how could he possibly deal with him? He was courting death. He would die. At that moment, Xing Chen's fist force was unstoppable. It headed straight for Wang Jingyang. The terrifying physical strength of an evolved being swept in all directions. The gravel on the ground floated in the air. Bang! However, at the last second before Wang Jingyang was hit, Wang Jingyang took a step back and seemed to have dodged Xing Chen's attack with great difficulty. Seeing that his attack had missed, Xing Chen frowned. "You're quite lucky." Xing Chen looked at Wang Jingyang and said expressionlessly, "Yes, it's all right. Yesterday, I played mahjong and got 2 kings and 4 twos and fight the landlord." Wang Jingyang smiled. "Oh, it seems like your luck is about to run out." Xing Chen's voice became colder. "However, from your tone and expression, it seems like you don't care about me." Wang Jingyang smiled. "I just don't care about your size. You really won't shed a tear until you see your coffin. I'll let you see just how big the gap between evolvers is." Xing Chen's eyes glinted coldly. A mere F-class evolved being dared to look down on his size. In an instant, Xing Chen's aura was like a raging blizzard, and also like raging waves. In the darkness of the night, it was as if his body had been stained with a trace of moonlight. Sensing Xing Chen's full power, Qin Huan, who was not far away, also felt a great deal of pressure. Xing Chen had evolved again. Moreover, he had not used his full power when fighting him just now. "Feel despair, and then die." Xing Chen roared furiously and immediately swung his palm towards Wang Jingyang. "Heh, not bad. But is this despair?" Wang Jingyang's lips curled up slightly. "Seems like you've never felt true despair." As Wang Jingyang's voice fell, a terrifying genetic aura spread from Wang Jingyang's body. It was like the pressure at the bottom of the endless sea, sweeping in all directions. The moment Xing Chen sensed this aura, he froze on the spot. From his limbs to his bones, it was as if they were trembling. In 2 breaths' time, Xing Chen's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. Monster! At this moment, Xing Chen's heart was beating wildly, and he subconsciously wanted to run away. However, his body was unable to move due to boundless fear. I will die. Run. Run for your lives." Xing Chen's entire body was trembling, but no matter how hard he tried, he was unable to move. Wang Jingyang stood in the garden, not moving even half a step. The cold smile on his face was like that of a venomous snake, frightening to the soul. The man in the loose black robe was like a living god of death. As long as he was willing, his life could be taken away at any time. In the nick of time, Xing Chen used all his strength to take out the dagger and stabbed it into the back of his hand. Immense pain assaulted him, and only then did Xing Chen regain a shred of reason and expel the unbearable fear. "Run!" Xing Chen was about to flee. However, Wang Jingyang was even faster. In the next second, Wang Jingyang grabbed Xing Chen by the neck and lifted him into the air. "Little guy, have you felt despair?" Wang Jingyang's eyes were cold. End of this chapter. Chapter 962. You. Xing Chen's face was red and he couldn't breathe. Bang! Xing Chen didn't know where he got the courage to punch Wang Jingyang in the face. To Xing Chen's disbelief, Wang Jingyang wasn't hurt at all. He merely furrowed his eyebrows. Ah! In the next second, Xing Chen let out a miserable howl that made people feel uneasy. His right hand had been broken by Wang Jingyang. Xing Chen's pale face had turned ghastly pale. Xing Chen. Qin Huan gritted his teeth. He wanted to save Xing Chen, but he didn't have the courage to do so. That man wasn't Pei Yuqing. He wasn't kind at all. He was an Azura who walked the mortal world from head to toe, a self-centered, arrogant demon. Human life wasn't worth mentioning at all. There was no doubt in Qin Huan's mind that if he tried to save Xing Chen right now, not only Xing Chen, but even he would be killed. Ah! Up ahead, Xing Chen's miserable screams continued to ring out. "Sir!" Qin Huan suppressed the fear in his heart as he forced himself to stand up and walk toward Wang Jingyang. What's the matter?" Wang Jingyang glanced at Qin Huan, who was walking over slowly. "Sir, can you let him live? I promise that he won't tell anyone about what happened today." Qin Huan said. "You promise?" Wang Jingyang glanced at Qin Huan. "So you're pleading for him?" "Sir, I. Qin Huan inhaled deeply, but his heart was beating faster and faster. Qin Huan, don't care about me." Xing Chen looked at Qin Huan with difficulty. Qin Huan was speechless. Qin Huan. You are in cahoots with the abyss. In the end, you will be devoured by the abyss. Xing Chen continued. Kid, you're so talkative. Wang Jingyang chuckled softly as he flipped his right palm and threw Xing Chen at his feet. A loud bang was heard. The ground beneath Xing Chen's feet shattered as he fell into the pit. Ouch! Xing Chen spat out a mouthful of blood. Qin Huan wanted to say something, but he didn't dare to. Qin Huan's body trembled as he looked at Xing Chen, who could be killed at any moment. He didn't know what to do. At this moment, Wang Jingyang squatted down and pinched Xing Chen's head with one hand. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Let's end this unfair game. Sinking star. Suddenly, Ling Yu rushed out from the darkness. Lin Yan was extremely anxious. She had never imagined that the man in the black robe would be so terrifying. Ling Yu rushed over and saw this scene. What Tom, Dick, and Harry? Compared to this man, they were practically millions of light years. Initially, he wanted to pull Ling Yu back, but he failed to do so. This time, he was probably done for. Ling Yan scanned her surroundings. Why wasn't Xiaoyao here yet? Bastard! How dare you treat Xing Chen like this? Ling Yu's eyes were already red. She raised her hand and slashed at Wang Jingyang. Bang! Wang Jingyang waved his hand. In the next second, Ling Yu's pupils suddenly contracted. It was as if her body had suddenly crashed into a train that was moving at full speed. Wow! Chapter 963. Ling Yu's face was pale. The man's casual wave had almost shattered her internal organs. Ling Yu didn't know when such a terrifying evolved being had appeared in this city. At this moment, Wang Jingyang glanced sideways at Ling Yu and smiled at Qin Huan. It's not easy to meet you. You've brought so much trouble. Qin Huan was speechless. Sir, I've been very careful. I'm not capable enough to observe carefully, Qin Huan said cautiously. It's true that you're not capable enough. Qin Huan said. Since you've been discovered by these two people, I'll help you get rid of them. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to return to the Pei family. Qin Huan's expression changed slightly. He immediately said, Sir, I know them very well. Leave them to me. I will convince them to work for you. Work for me? Wang Jingyang replied expressionlessly. Unfortunately, I don't need it. Qin Huan wanted to stop Wang Jingyang's killing intent, but there was nothing he could do. If he continued to speak, not only would he not be able to save Ling Yu and Xing Chen, but he would also have to die here. Although Qin Huan didn't know Wang Jingyang well, he knew that his heart was as deep as the sea. He was unpredictable and ruthless. Wang Jingyang walked over to Ling Yu and Xing Chen and said coldly, You have to see what you shouldn't see and hear what you shouldn't hear. You shouldn't keep those two alive. In secret, Ling Yan was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Xing Chen and Ling Yu were about to lose their lives, yet Xiaoyao still hadn't arrived. This boss was too unreliable. He had promised to come to this place. Meanwhile, in a deserted suburb of the capital city, Xiaoyao drove the car and sat in the driver's seat expressionlessly. After stopping the car, Xiaoyao opened the door and surveyed his surroundings in confusion. I'm lost again. Xiaoyao took out his phone and realized that he was getting further and further away from the location that Lin Yan had sent him. His expression turned solemn again. Although Lin Yan was anxious, it was useless. Xiaoyao had yet to appear, so she probably couldn't count on him tonight. But if Xiaoyao didn't come, what else could she do? Although she wasn't familiar with evolved beings' abilities and levels, anyone with a brain would be able to tell that the man in the black robe wasn't someone she could deal with. Reason told her that she absolutely could not go out tonight. Otherwise, even she might lose her life here. However, there was no way she could stand by and watch Xing Chen and Ling Yu lose their lives. Damn, I don't care anymore. Xing Chen and Ling Yu were about to die at the man's hands. Lin Yan rushed forward in a fit of rage. At the critical moment, the evolved power that Lin Yan unleashed was extremely shocking. Her body transformed into a shadow as she leaped into the air and punched the man's back. Seeing another person rush out, Wang Jingyang sneered, Too many flies. Wang Jingyang waved his hand. Lin Yan had just approached Wang Jingyang when she felt as though she had fallen into an ice cave. Her movements began to slow down, and an indescribable sense of fear rose in her heart. It was as though the man in front of her was an insurmountable mountain. Just by approaching him, the pressure of the Putian highlands made Lin Yan's heart palpitate. End of this chapter. Chapter 964. Although Lin Yan had known that this man was very strong, she only had a rough idea of what it meant to be strong after interacting with him. It's over. Lin Yan watched as the man swung his arm at her. It was too fast for her to dodge. Lin Yan's heart sank. She shouldn't have been so impulsive. Wang Jingyang finally saw the person's face clearly when he saw Lin Yan's panicked expression. The smile on Wang Jingyang's face froze when he saw Lin Yan's panicked expression. His pupils constricted. In the blink of an eye, Wang Jingyang immediately stopped his attack. Lin Yan's punch hadn't stopped. Although Wang Jingyang had stopped his attack, Lin Yan hadn't stopped her punch. Boom! A loud sound reverberated in the air. Ling Yu and Qin Huan watched in disbelief as Lin Yan's fist landed hard on Wang Jingyang's face. Wang Jingyang was sent flying by Lin Yan's fist. He slid on the ground for a few meters before he stopped. Huh! Lin Yan stared at the man in shock. She instinctively glanced at her own fist. Even Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Was she that powerful? Or was that man weak? Lin Yan discarded the thought that the man was weak. Xing Chun and Ling Yu were living examples. How could a man be weak? If the man wasn't weak, how had she managed to do it? Even Qin Huan and Ling Yu were puzzled. Sister Yan, run! Ling Yu snapped out of her daze and hurriedly exclaimed. Regardless of how Lin Yan had managed to do it, she would die if she stayed. Miss Lin Yan. Qin Huan frowned when he saw Lin Yan's face. He hadn't expected that Lin Yan would follow him. Qin Huan, are you even human? Xing Chun used to confide in you, but look at how he has changed. Lin Yan glared at Qin Huan as she spoke coldly. Miss Lin Yan, Qin Huan glanced at the semi-conscious Xing Chun, his heart filled with complex emotions. However, what could he do? Sir. Qin Huan walked over to Wang Jingyang without looking at Xing Chun. Wang Jingyang had risen to his feet and was scrutinizing Lin Yan. I'll fight you to the death. Lin Yan panicked when the man turned to look at her. In any case, this man wouldn't let her off. Instead of waiting for her death, she might as well strike first. Wang Jingyang. Before Wang Jingyang could react, Lin Yan dashed over once more. My lord, please don't. Before Qin Huan could finish his sentence, his voice stopped abruptly. Bang! Qin Huan watched as Wang Jingyang was sent flying by Lin Yan. Qin Huan stared at Lin Yan in disbelief. He could accept it if Lin Yan had succeeded previously because of a sneak attack. However, what about this time? Wang Jingyang's evolved power was unfathomable. How could he have been sent flying by Lin Yan twice? Lin Yan was perplexed as she watched Wang Jingyang fly away. F***ck. Lin Yan sized up her fist. Am I really that strong? All this while, Lin Yan hadn't had a rough understanding of the abilities of an evolved being. Although Pei Yuqing had explained it to her once, Lin Yan hadn't had much actual combat experience with evolved beings, so she didn't know much about her own abilities. Chapter 965. So, could it be possible that she was a very powerful evolver, but she did not know about it? Lin Yan had seen with her own eyes how powerful the man in the black robe was. He could cripple Xing Chun with a casual wave of his hand. Besides, Lin Yan had indeed sensed the man's evolved aura, which made it hard for her to breathe. Such a powerful evolved being had been defeated by her twice. Hence, she must be stronger. That's right, she just didn't know how strong she was. In order to verify her thoughts, Lin Yan cautiously walked toward the man who had just crawled up. The man stood rooted to the ground as he watched Lin Yan quietly. Who are you? What is your motive? Lin Yan asked coldly as she approached Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Sir, let's mind our own business. How about that? Wang Jingyang lowered his voice and spoke to Lin Yan. Mind our own business? Lin Yan was startled by Wang Jingyang's words. She carefully analyzed the meaning behind his words. Was he afraid of her? Was he showing weakness by saying that? In the past, Lin Yan would have preferred to stay out of this man's way. However, things were different now. If she was really stronger than this man, why should she stay out of his way? Before Lin Yan could speak, Wang Jingyang added, I want to know what your relationship is with these people. Why are you standing up for them? They are my friends. What do you think? Lin Yan replied. Friends? Wang Jingyang fell into deep thought. He really hadn't known that the little fellow and the girl were Lin Yan's friends. He had miscalculated tonight. He had never imagined that Lin Yan would follow him. Qin Huan, that piece of trash. It was bad enough that he had brought so many people with him, but he had actually brought Lin Yan along as well. All right, I'll give you some face. You can take these people away, said Wang Jingyang. Lin Yan had a rough idea of what to do. At that moment, Lin Yan was 100% sure that the man in front of her was afraid of her. Hence, he wasn't her match. Cut the crap. You haven't answered my question. Who exactly are you? Show me your face. Lin Yan bellowed. Wang Jingyang. Lin Yan dashed forward when Wang Jingyang fell silent. She grabbed his robe and was about to pull it open. This time, Wang Jingyang pushed Lin Yan away, which was rare for him. Lin Yan didn't back down, so she started to wrestle with Wang Jingyang. In this battle with Lin Yan, Wang Jingyang's hands and feet were tied. He was afraid that he would injure Lin Yan if he wasn't careful. As time went on, he was at a disadvantage, and his black robe was almost ripped off by Lin Yan. Lin Yan, on the other hand, had gone from hesitation to confidence during her battle with Wang Jingyang. She could easily beat up such a strong man, and even kicked him to the ground several times. Lin Yan realized that she was definitely a super-evolved being that had been severely underestimated. On the surface, she looked like a good-for-nothing, a mere F-level evolved human. But in reality, her ability was huge. It was very likely that her evolved human ability was too strong, causing the machine to be unable to detect it. Surrender. You're no match for me. Don't force me to be ruthless. Lin Yan glared at Wang Jingyang coldly. Wang Jingyang. Chapter 966. Wang Jingyang wanted to leave, but Lin Yan had no intention of letting him go. Instead, she continued to wrestle with him. Wang Jingyang took a few steps back and glanced at Lin Yan from the corner of his eye. She was really confident. Lin Yan and Wang Jingyang had been fighting for more than 10 minutes. Ling Yu. Xing Chen woke up from his coma and frowned at Ling Yu, who was sitting beside him. Xing Chen had never imagined that he would still be alive. How do you feel? Ling Yu glanced at Xing Chen. I can barely hold on. My hand is broken, but fortunately, it's a mechanical arm. Xing Chen pondered for a moment before replying. Xing Chen's eyes darted to the side and he froze in shock. Lin Yan was fighting with the mysterious black-robed man. Miss Lin Yan. Xing Chen was shocked, and he broke out in a cold sweat. Xing Chen struggled to get up and gritted his teeth. Who asked you to come? Miss Lin Yan. Nothing can happen to you. Lie down. Ling Yu grabbed Xing Chen's shoulder and pulled him back. That person is no match for Sister Yan. As Ling Yu's voice fell, Xing Chen's face was filled with confusion. Xiao, are you alright? Why did you start talking nonsense? That man wasn't Lin Yan's match? Was his brain damaged? The mysterious man's evolver power was unfathomable, and had reached an unimaginable realm. His body had evolved to the limit. Even evolvers of S-class and above might not be able to break through the defense of his body with such pure gene evolution. Others might not know what level Lin Yan was at, but Xing Chen naturally knew. He could kill an F-class evolved being with one punch, let alone that man. See for yourself, said Ling Yu. Everyone knew the logic, but the truth was right in front of them. Bang! Lin Yan's knee slammed into Wang Jingyang's abdomen, sending him flying. Wang Jingyang made use of the momentum to escape, but Lin Yan stuck to him like a glue. Before Wang Jingyang could take 2 steps, Lin Yan hugged him from behind. Then, he threw Wang Jingyang to the ground with a shoulder throw. Have you had enough fun? Wouldn't it be better if you just left? Why must you force me to act? Wang Jingyang said coldly. Bah! Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang in disdain. You're really thick-skinned. Can't you see how badly I've beaten you up? Do it. Wang Jingyang. Don't go too far, Wang Jingyang said. Lin Yan nodded. That's right. It's not appropriate to say that I'm forcing you to attack. Where's your arrogance and arrogance? Why are you so afraid now? Are you bullying the weak and afraid of the strong? At this moment, Xing Chen's eyes widened, and the corner of his mouth twitched. His eyes were filled with disbelief. What was going on? Had he seen a ghost? Or was his brain damaged by the beating? How could Lin Yan possibly defeat that man? Is this true? How could that man be so weak? Xing Chen asked in astonishment. If that man couldn't even defeat Lin Yan, how could he have been beaten up so badly? Let go! Wang Jingyang shouted. In your dreams! Lin Yan grabbed Wang Jingyang's hair from behind and refused to let go. Are you going to let go or not? Wang Jingyang gritted his teeth. Let me see who you are. Lin Yan grabbed Wang Jingyang's black robe and raised her right arm. There was a loud swoosh. Wang Jingyang's black robe was torn off and fluttered in the wind. Chapter 967. Wang Jingyang frowned as Lin Yan tore off his black robe. He waved his palm, and the strong wind forced Lin Yan to retreat. A second later, Wang Jingyang turned around and ran. Lin Yan chased after him hastily. However, Wang Jingyang was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared. He ran so fast. Lin Yan was astonished. She might not be able to catch up with him even if she drove. Initially, Lin Yan had wanted to beat him up. However, he was too fast, so she had no choice but to give up. Qin Huan. Lin Yan turned around and surveyed her surroundings. However, Qin Huan was nowhere to be seen. Before Wang Jingyang had escaped, Qin Huan had already slipped away. Sister Yan. He ran away. Ling Yu said weakly as she glanced at Lin Yan. How are you and Xing Chen? Lin Yan hurried forward to check on their injuries. It looked very serious, especially for Xing Chen, whose clothes were already dyed red with blood. Hold on. I'll call an ambulance for you. Lin Yan whipped out her phone. Before Lin Yan could do anything, Xing Chen suddenly said, Miss Lin, there's no need. There's no need. Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen in surprise. He was so badly injured, yet he said that there was no need to go to the hospital? Sister Yan, it's hard to explain Xing Chen's injuries to the hospital. Besides, there are doctors in the villa, Ling Yu said softly. Lin Yan fell into deep thought. She naturally understood what Ling Yu meant. It was indeed hard to explain Xing Chen's injuries. Miss Lin, I'm fine. Xing Chen took a deep breath and told Lin Yan. I'm a pure physical evolved being. My self-healing ability is very strong. Lin Yan studied Xing Chen and realized that he looked much better than before. Sister Yan, let's go back first. I'm afraid that person will come back. Ling Yu looked worried. Come back. Lin Yan replied nonchalantly. Don't worry. He wouldn't dare come back. Even if he did, he would be walking into a trap. He's no match for me. Ling Yu was puzzled. She wanted to say something, but she didn't say anything in the end. Ling Yu could swear to the heavens that the man from before was definitely powerful to a level that even she did not understand. With just a wave of his hand, he could easily heavily injure or even destroy her and Xing Chen. Such a powerful man had been defeated by Lin Yan. Furthermore, he had been defeated in such a childish manner. Back then, when Ling Yu was in the Demoness faction, she had seen a battle between powerful evolvers. After seeing it with her own eyes, Ling Yu finally understood what it meant to be a battle between immortals. However, she hadn't been able to tell that the battle between Lin Yan and that man had been like a fight between gods. There were only two possibilities. Firstly, the man wasn't serious about fighting Lin Yan. However, Ling Yu couldn't figure out why. The black-robed man was so vicious. Logically speaking, he wouldn't have let Lin Yan live. The second reason was that Lin Yan's evolved ability was far superior to that of the black-robed man, so it looked very simple. However, Ling Yu had some understanding of Lin Yan. How could Lin Yan have such terrifying evolved power? At most, she was a level F evolved being. Hence, Ling Yu was still in a daze. She felt as though she was in a dream. Although she had seen Lin Yan chase the black-robed man away with her own eyes, it still felt surreal to her. Chapter 968. Xingchen, you're too weak. You have to cultivate more. Lin Yan stared at Xingchen for a long time before she spoke in a serious tone. Miss Lin, I'm weak. Xingchen stared at Lin Yan, his face pale. Lin Yan didn't reply immediately. Instead, she scanned Xingchen from head to toe. Isn't it obvious? Ling Yu was speechless. Xingchen gritted his teeth. Miss Lin, I'm not weak. That man is too strong. Strong? Lin Yan sneered. I think he's pretty weak too. Xingchen opened his mouth, wanting to retort. However, he couldn't refute her. Half an hour later, Wang Jingyang emerged from the shadows, his brows furrowed. He had never imagined that Lin Yan would appear out of nowhere. She had almost seen him. If Lin Yan had discovered his identity, he wouldn't have been able to explain himself. Many years ago, he had promised Lin Yan that he wouldn't lie to her again. He didn't want to go back on his word and fail to keep his promise to her. I've watched the show for long enough. Come out. A moment later, Wang Jingyang's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness as he spoke coldly. Wang Jingyang's voice trailed off. A man and a woman emerged from the shadows. Wang Jingyang's gaze landed on the two of them. After a quick glance, he smiled and said, Why do I know the two of you? Wang Jingyang, you used to be the young master of the Mu family. Am I right? The woman stared at Wang Jingyang and chuckled softly. Wang Jingyang grinned. It seems like you know me very well. So, should I address you as Wang Jingyang or young master Mu Yang? The woman's smile widened. A name is just a code. It's not important. I'm curious as to how you found out about my identity. Which force sent you here to investigate me? Asked Wang Jingyang. It's useless for a person like you who is about to die to ask so many questions. We were indeed hired. However, the person who hired us is not someone that you and your Miss Mu can afford to offend, the woman said indifferently. What else do you know? Asked Wang Jingyang. That Miss Mu shouldn't be dead, right? The man's deep voice could be heard. As the man's voice fell, Wang Jingyang smiled and said, What are you talking about? Miss Mu has been dead for many years. What's there to talk about? Mu Yang, stop pretending. We are not interested in what happened back then. Our mission this time around is to find that Miss Mu. If you are able to hand her over, you can keep your life. Otherwise, not only will Miss Mu die, you will also die, said the woman with a smile. Just as Wang Jingyang was about to say something, the woman continued with a smile. The girl you fought with just now, you held back a lot. Could she be that Miss Mu? Ha! Wang Jingyang chuckled and applauded. Impressive. That's right. That girl is Lin Yan. She is the Miss Mu that you are looking for. Hearing that, the man and the woman looked at each other, as if they were communicating with their eyes. After a long time, the woman looked at Wang Jingyang again and said, Young Master Mu, is what you said true? If you're telling the truth, I can guarantee that you'll be spared. After all, the person who hired us wants Miss Mu, not you. It's the truth. Wang Jingyang grinned. Chapter 969. Alright, since you're so sincere, we won't do anything to you today. However, we hope that you won't play any tricks. You should know that no matter where you and Ms. Mu escape to, we're confident that we can find you in the shortest time possible. The woman stared at Wang Jingyang and smiled. Yes, I don't doubt that. However, there's something that bothers me. You two don't seem to know me that well, Wang Jingyang said expressionlessly. As Wang Jingyang's voice trailed off, the woman sneered and said, That's not necessarily the case. Young Master Mu was born in the Mu clan. Almost every descendant of the Mu clan is an innate evolver. Only you young Master Mu are special. You were born an ordinary person, so you were treated coldly in the Mu clan. Seeing that Wang Jingyang's expression did not change, the woman continued. After that, young Master Mu, you became a low-level acquired evolver, and embarrassed the Mu family again. However, God took pity on you. You and Ms. Mu were chosen by the Holy Land. You passed the assessment, and became students of the Holy Land. You even became the disciple of the Holy Land's master. Wang Jingyang smiled and shook his head. I've told you. You don't know me well. Oh. The woman looked at Wang Jingyang meaningfully. Isn't that comprehensive enough? Do you want to hear my story? Wang Jingyang smiled. If you want to tell us, we can listen to it, the woman said. As you said, I was born an ordinary person. I was hated by my family, and was abandoned in the wilderness. I was raised by a pack of wolves. Wang Jingyang looked at the man, and the woman in front of him, and said calmly. It was as if he was talking to an old friend about his unknown past. Raised by a pack of wolves? The man and woman looked at each other when they heard that, and a strange expression appeared in their eyes. He was not eaten by wolves, but he grew up drinking wolf milk. I was supposed to live in the wilderness and be buried there. Fate was too wonderful for words. The Mu family met me. They called me strange, and they called me strange. I became the adopted son of the Mu family, Wang Jingyang said. Young Master Mu isn't his biological son? He's just an adopted son? The woman was deep in thought. They weren't sure about this. In a big evolver family like the Mu family, I am just an adopted son. I do not have a high status, but the Mu family sees me as their own. People laugh at the Mu family for having a young master, who is not even an evolver, Han Sun said with a smile. So, young Master Mu became a lowly post-human in a fit of anger? There was a hint of disdain in the woman's voice. Naturally born evolvers like them did not care about acquired evolvers. Lowly post-human evolvers. The corners of Wang Jingyang's lips curled up slightly. What do you mean by lowly? You are born with good luck and strong genes. Post-human, you need to work harder. How can you be born noble and lowly? Wang Jingyang said expressionlessly. He had never known the difference between nobility and lowliness. He was born lowly, but in the high and mighty Mu family, no one had ever made him feel lowly. We finished listening to young Master Mu's story. However, we're more interested in Miss Mu. Remember, don't play any tricks. Otherwise, young Master Mu will die a horrible death. The woman glanced at Wang Jingyang and left with the man. So, in your subconscious mind, natural evolvers are definitely stronger than acquired evolvers. Wang Jingyang smiled faintly. Chapter 970. As soon as Wang Jingyang finished speaking, the man and the woman suddenly stopped in their tracks. The man turned around with obvious disdain in his eyes, as if he was looking at a clown who was unwilling to accept his fate. I was born to be lowly and inferior. My rank has long been determined. Young Master Mu, you don't have to worry about whether you're lowly or not. Our current mission is Miss Mu. We don't have the time to listen to you complain about the injustice of God. The woman smiled faintly. However, Wang Jingyang didn't respond to the two of them. He just smiled and raised his palms, sizing them up. I was born to be lowly, so I worked harder than anyone else. I worked hard to be above everyone else. And I worked hard to surpass those natural-born evolved beings that I could only dream of but couldn't reach. You surpassed natural-born evolved beings? The man's gaze fell on Wang Jingyang. He seemed to be completely attracted by Wang Jingyang's words. The man's lips curled into a cold and disdainful smile. Come on, young Master Mu, prove it to me. Swoosh! As soon as the man finished speaking, a strong wind surged around them. The young Master Mu that the two of them were talking about was like a ray of fire that instantly engulfed the night. Almost in the blink of an eye, Wang Jingyang had already arrived between the man and the woman. The overwhelming pressure seemed to have turned into an ancient ruthless head. The unbearable violent aura completely enveloped the two of them. Almost at the same time, the man and the woman's pupils contracted. Cold sweat seeped from their foreheads. The two of them didn't dare to move under the indescribably terrifying aura. It was as if an invisible blade had been placed on their necks. At any time, their blood would splash on the ground beneath their feet. It was the final warning of the end of their lives. Wang Jingyang stood between the two of them and placed his hands on their shoulders. At this moment, Wang Jingyang looked at the night in the distance for a long time. After looking away, he said indifferently, "Which daughter of the Mu family isn't a genius? How dare you mention her name, humiliate her, and threaten her life?" After saying that, Wang Jingyang clapped his hands lightly. Bang! Bang! The two of them couldn't resist at all. Their knees hit the ground hard, and they knelt on the spot. At this moment, the man and woman looked at Wang Jingyang in disbelief. How could a lowly postnatal evolver evolve his genes to such a terrifying degree? Both of them were natural-born evolvers of the big clans. Their current level of evolvers was already outstanding. Compared to the big clans, they were among the best. However, when faced with a postnatal evolver like Wang Jingyang, he had no power to resist. Wang Jingyang's display of strength had completely exceeded the limits of their understanding. Just by relying on his extremely terrifying physique, it was enough to make them, who were born high and mighty, unable to breathe. The children of the Mu family are also people that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can bully. Wang Jingyang's bone-chilling gaze landed on the couple on the ground. "Do you know why I'm so talkative tonight?" Wang Jingyang asked indifferently. Almost instinctively, the man shook his head. If a wolf has been alone for too long, even if it sees an ant one day, the wolf will also stare intently at it, Wang Jingyang said. Hearing this, the man's expression changed slightly. So the wolf that Wang Jingyang mentioned was himself, and the ant was the two of them? Today the update will resume. End of this chapter. Chapter 971. The woman lifted her head to look at Wang Jingyang, her eyes filled with hatred and disgust. Ever since she was born, she was a natural-born evolver with a noble status. She was the moon in her clan, and looked down on everything. Those lowly postnatal evolvers had never been in her eyes. To her, the purpose of a postnatal evolved being was to serve the high and mighty natural evolved beings. They were like slaves, sacrificing their lives. In the most ancient evolved being clans, natural evolved beings could even control the life and death of postnatal evolved beings. But in front of her, this postnatal evolver, who was so lowly in her eyes, had called her an ant. Was it an illusion? Soon, the woman's gaze fell on the man next to her. She did not believe that this inferior evolver, who had been adopted by the Mu family, could possess such a terrifying evolver's power. Postnatal evolved beings could not be compared to innate evolved beings. She was the moon in the starry sky, while he was just a grain of sand under the light of the starry sky. The man frowned and said softly, "I don't know, but how can a postnatal evolver have such a terrifying evolutionary power? Maybe it's an illusion. But even if it's an illusion, this young Master Mu's brain must have evolved to a high level to be able to trap us and make us unable to see through it." The first was the evolution of the brain. One could possess incredible evolutionary powers, such as psychokinesis, mental strength, and control power. Powerful brain evolvers could indeed easily cause people to fall into illusions and be unable to extricate themselves. These were all pure brain evolvers. Some legendary-level ancient evolvers had evolved their brains to the limit and could even achieve the transcendent ability of controlling nature. The second path was body evolution. The human body was like an ancient beast, but it was limited by all sorts of restrictions. The most primitive power had long been sealed in the genes. The path of body evolution was to unlock the genes that sealed the primitive power. Legend had it that when the body evolved to the limit, the genes could be unlocked. When brain-evolved beings reached the limit, they would be called natural evolved beings. It was a sublimation of the brain's evolution. When the body evolved to the limit, and the genes were unlocked, they would be called genetic evolved beings. However, be it natural evolved beings or genetic evolved beings, They would only appear occasionally in the ancient evolved beings clans. The two of them had never thought that there would be any relatively powerful evolvers in the imperial capital of China. Even B-class evolvers were extremely rare, let alone A-class evolvers. Now, the two of them mistakenly thought that Wang Jingyang was a brain-evolved being. He doesn't look like a brain-evolved being. What he showed before was more like a physical evolved being, the man said thoughtfully. The man was a physical evolved being, so he could distinguish between similar evolutions. Impossible. The woman said coldly, your body evolved to a high level. Even you can't resist it. Could he have unlocked his genes? Hearing that, the man shook his head. Even if it's a natural-born evolver, it's not quite possible to reach the peak and unlock the genes. Let's not even talk about this kind of acquired evolver. All physical evolvers only had one wish, and that was to unlock the genes in their bodies. They wanted to become a genetic evolver that could evolve their bodies to the extreme. How could such an inferior postnatal evolver be able to do it? Chapter 972. Just as the man was about to make his next move, Wang Jingyang slowly opened his eyes. Oh, are you done talking? Wang Jingyang did not seem to care that the man was holding him. He did not resist, and only looked at the man calmly. Master Mu, we have underestimated you. Your brain evolution level is not bad. Even we could not see through your illusion. The man stared at Wang Jingyang and sneered. Illusion? Wang Jingyang said calmly. You think I used some kind of spiritual attack illusion on you guys? What? Isn't that the case? Otherwise, how could your evolved power frighten us so much that we couldn't even lift our heads under the suppression of your evolved power? You wouldn't have fallen asleep here if your mental strength wasn't exhausted, the man said calmly. So that's what you were talking about. Wang Jingyang thought for a while and then smiled. I saw you guys chatting happily, and I did not want to disturb you. It was so boring that I felt sleepy. Before the man could speak, Wang Jingyang continued. Now that I have slept, are you done talking? You are still talking nonsense when you are about to die, the man shouted coldly. Soon after, a fist filled with terrifying power landed heavily on Wang Jingyang's abdomen. However, Wang Jingyang did not howl in pain as the man had expected. Instead, he seemed to be fine. The man's punch was like a decoration. You must have had a hard time, Master Mu. The man smiled. We were having a good conversation. Why did you hit me? Wang Jingyang asked. Before the man could speak, Wang Jingyang continued. Also, is your fist made of dough? As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Jingyang raised a finger and flicked the man's forehead. Bang! It was like the sound of a boulder falling from a high altitude to the ground. The man's body was like a cloth bag in the wind. In the blink of an eye, he was sent flying. Only then did Wang Jingyang's feet land on the ground again. Who told you that I am an evolved brain? Wang Jingyang yawned. The woman stood at the back with her eyes closed. An overwhelming force of will surged towards Wang Jingyang. There was nothing in the empty void, but it gave birth to a mysterious scene like that of the boundless universe. The power of the will transformed into an army of thousands of horses, sweeping across the land, wanting to kill Wang Jingyang under the hooves of the will. Not bad. This power of will is indeed not something that those who have evolved their brains can compare to. Wang Jingyang mumbled softly. I've already sealed him with my mind. There's no need to hold back. You can kill him now, the woman said to the man in a hurry. At this moment, the woman's forehead was covered in cold sweat. She had never expected that just using her mind power to slightly control Wang Jingyang's movements would instantly consume a large amount of her mind power. Was this man really a monster? The man saw that the situation was not good, and the evolved power in his body was pushed to the limit. He took a step forward, and it was as if he was treading on the clouds. With an unstoppable force, he rushed towards Wang Jingyang. With every step the man took, the ground beneath his feet would visibly shatter. It could be seen that his strength had reached a certain level. With this strike, the man was determined to kill. It was as if a meteorite had struck Wang Jingyang's face. The huge force created an invisible wave of air, and even the gravel within a radius of more than 10 meters was sent flying. Chapter 973. Phew! The woman took a deep breath, her face turning pale. Her mental strength had reached its limit. At that moment, a trace of panic rose in the woman's heart. Her mental strength was very strong. If she continued to use her evolved ability, she would be able to last half a day. However, when she had used her mental strength to control Mu Yang, her mental strength had been depleted in less than a few minutes. She had never encountered such a situation before. Did you succeed? The woman's gaze landed in front of her. When the gray fog dissipated, the woman's expectant gaze vanished, leaving behind only fear. It was unknown whether the man was dead or alive. Wang Jingyang lifted him casually, leaving an obvious mark on the ground. Soon, Wang Jingyang threw the unconscious man out of the room in disgust. The woman instinctively retreated when she saw Wang Jingyang walking toward her. I'll tell you. Wang Jingyang walked to the woman's side. Your mental strength is quite pure. You can actually restrict my movements for a few seconds. A few seconds. Hearing this, the woman frowned deeply. Can you let me go? The woman didn't give Wang Jingyang a chance to speak. No way. Wang Jingyang chuckled softly. Don't beg for mercy. After all, you're a noble evolved being. Since the game has begun, let's follow the rules to the end, okay? What rules? Asked the woman. Either you die or I die. This is the rules of the game. Cloud manner in the room. Lin Yin glanced at Xing Chun, who had almost recovered. She asked in surprise, You recovered so quickly? Xing Chun, who was slightly taken aback, nodded. Miss Lin, I'm a pure evolved being. At my level, I can recover from any serious injury unless I'm beaten to death. Lin Yin rubbed her chin and asked, Cockroach. Xing Chun was speechless. At your level? Look in the mirror and see how badly you've been beaten. Lin Yin sighed. If it hadn't been for me today, you would have been beaten to death. Miss Lin, you're right. Thank you for saving my life. Xing Chun hurriedly thanked her, but he was still puzzled. I'm just a little curious. Given your level and skills, how could you have beaten that person away? This was something that Xing Chun could not understand no matter how he thought about it. My level? Lin Yin frowned. Xing Chun took out the identification device and waved it in front of Lin Yin. Miss Lin, take a look. It's barely an F-class evolved body. Xing Chun passed the device to Lin Yin. I won't watch it. Lin Yin glanced at the device and retorted indignantly. What's the use of this? Did you test that person's level? Yes, it's also an F. He must have done something to himself that the instrument can't detect. Wang Jing said after a moment of contemplation. Trick my ass. Lin Yin glanced at Xing Chun. This thing doesn't work. It's like a toy. If that person was a class F, would he have been able to beat you and ling you up? It's definitely impossible, Xing Chun said. If I were a class F, would I be able to chase him away? Asked Lin Yin. Xing Chun. That's why he beat all of you up. He's stronger than all of you, so I chased him away. I'm stronger than him. Of course, I'm also stronger than all of you. Lin Yin grinned. Xing Chun. Chapter 974. Xing Chun couldn't refute Lin Yan's words. She had beaten the black-robed man away, and that was a fact that couldn't be faked. However, based on his understanding of Lin Yan, this was unbelievable. Lin Yan had punched him previously, so he was certain that Lin Yan was at most a Class F evolved being. Miss Lin, when you punched me previously, I didn't feel anything. Xing Chun glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. Lin Yan sneered coldly. You don't understand. I'm strong when I meet someone strong and weak. You should find your own problem. Xing Chun was speechless. Alright, it was his problem. He was too weak. Miss Lin, why don't you try punching me again? Xing Chun pondered it for a moment. I will definitely satisfy your request. Anyway, you will recover quickly after being seriously injured. It should be fine. Lin Yan strode over to Xing Chun and raised her palm. The last time was an accident. This time I will do my best. I won't disappoint you. Xing Chun's forehead broke out in a cold sweat as he stared at Lin Yan's fist. Xing Chun hurriedly said, Wait. Miss Lin. I suddenly feel that there is a problem with the machine. Ha, you're not going to try? Lin Yan was puzzled. No, it must be a problem with the machine. I don't think there's a need to try. Xing Chun nodded repeatedly. Xing Chun heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Lin Yan put down her fist in disappointment. He didn't want to be seriously injured again. Xing Chun wasn't sure how strong Lin Yan was, but there was no doubt that she had beaten the black-robed man away. I didn't expect myself to be so strong. Lin Yan gazed at her palms deep in thought. She had always thought that she was a rookie, but she had been wrong. She was ridiculously strong. Lin Yan had seen how strong the black-robed man was, but she had beaten him as easily as a father beating his son. She hadn't expected that she had severely underestimated herself. In the future, when she met those so-called powerful evolved beings, she wouldn't have to be a coward anymore. Oh yeah, you said that evolved beings have the ability to heal quickly. What happened to Mr. Pei? Lin Yan asked Xing Chun. Sister Yan, it's different. It's completely different, said Ling Yu. Besides, Brother Yu is an evolved being with a brain. Only an evolved being with a physical body has the ability to heal quickly. An evolved being with a brain has a weak body. It's rare that Brother Yu has such skills. It means that an evolved person with a strong body is like a tank warrior with high defense and fast health regeneration. Even if his health is low, his recovery ability is insane. On the other hand, an evolved person with a brain is like a great sorcerer. Once his magic power is depleted, he can only wait for death. In addition, his defense is very weak, and he has no recovery ability. Lin Yan whispered. Ling Yu and Xing Chun exchanged glances. This was the first time they had heard someone describe an evolved body and an evolved brain. However, there didn't seem to be anything wrong with what Lin Yan had said. That was indeed the case. Lin Yan had just returned to her room in the wee hours of the morning when her phone rang. It was Zhao Hongling. Lin Yan, what are you doing tonight? Zhao Hongling asked curiously as soon as the call went through. Me? What did you do? Lin Yan was puzzled. Go online and see for yourself. It hasn't even been 3 hours, and it's already the #1 trending topic. Chapter 975. It had only been less than 3 hours since she was first on the hot search list. What had she done? After hanging up, Lin Yan checked her phone suspiciously. Most trending. One title. I happened to capture this scene during my morning jog. It's definitely not a fake. Is there really a martial arts expert in this world? An ominous premonition arose in Lin Yan's heart when she read the title. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she clicked on the video. The content of the video was about what had happened that night. It included how the man in black had injured Xing Chun and Ling Yu, as well as how he had fought with her. Lin Yan even suspected that the man had used a 4K laser. How could he have captured everything so clearly in the middle of the night? In less than 3 hours, the number of comments below the video had reached more than 50,000, and it was reposted countless times. Love giving birth to men's children typed. F***CK. Is this for real? This is too exaggerated. February shaves his head and dies typed. It doesn't look fake. Is this a movie? Yuxing will be your grandfather typed. Why does the woman who fought with the man in black look so familiar? I've had the honor of eating pork before typed. Isn't that Lin Yan? I'll recognize ashes even if I turn into a ghost. I'll recognize ashes even if I turn into ashes. I give doll a different mother typed. It's confirmed. It's Lin Yan. Damn it. It must be a marketing account. They claim to have filmed it during a night jog, but it's just a publicity stunt. One Hammer 80 commented, Lin Yan's skills aren't good either. Look at her moves. It's obvious that she hasn't undergone intensive training. I'll give her a bad review. Oh yeah, what movie is this? When will it be released? Before Lin Yin could finish watching the video, Zhao Hongling called her again. Lin Yin, have you watched it? Yeah, replied Lin Yin. What happened? Zhao Hongling's tone was obviously doubtful. Lin Yin fell silent for a moment before she replied. Sister Ling. This is an act. Isn't it obvious? Acting? What movie? Why don't I know anything about it? Besides, I didn't use any props. Zhao Hongling didn't buy Lin Yan's story. Big Sister Ling. This was recorded by a few of us playing with our phones. Actually, it's a friend of mine who has had a wuxia dream since he was young. After much persuasion, he finally managed to hoodwink Zhao Hongling. Lin Yan didn't think much of the video. Anyway, everyone believed that it was just an act, and it wouldn't affect her in any way. However, Lin Yan would never have imagined that this video, which she hadn't really cared about, would shatter her peaceful life in the near future. It would create a huge storm. The next day, Wang Jingyang's home. At this moment, Wang Jingyang's face was dark as he stared at the video on his phone, playing it over and over again. A handsome man stood respectfully beside Wang Jingyang. Sir, this kind of video shouldn't be that important, the man said softly when he saw Wang Jingyang staring at the video. Hearing this, Wang Jingyang finally looked away from the phone. The world is about to change, Wang Jingyang said after a long time. As soon as Wang Jingyang finished speaking, the man's expression changed slightly. Wang Jingyang must have his reasons for saying that. Sir, I don't quite understand, the man said after pondering for some time. You don't have to understand. Wang Jingyang turned on his phone again with a frown on his face. Chapter 976. A layman might not be able to tell anything from this video, and might think that it was an act. However, evolved beings couldn't be so blind. This video was too popular, and had already spread. If someone recognized Lin Yin or his skills, all the peace would be broken in an instant. There wouldn't be any accidents. It wouldn't be a big deal if it was any other evolved being. But, if he was discovered by the power he was afraid of, the consequences would be unimaginable. In the office, Lin Yin glanced at Xiao Yao, who looked as though nothing had happened. She said unhappily, Boss, you're too unreliable. What's wrong? Xiao Yao glanced at Lin Yan. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Why did he have the cheek to ask her what was wrong? Boss, it was a matter of life and death last night. You promised to come, but I almost died. Lin Yan sighed. I almost died because of you. Xiao Yao stood up and walked to Lin Yan. He sized her up. Aren't you fine? Lin Yan was speechless. Boss, that's because I'm too strong. No one is my match. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see me today, replied Lin Yan. Are you very strong? Xiao Yao asked thoughtfully. How about it? Do you want to give it a try? I feel that I'm stronger than anyone else. I underestimated myself previously. Lin Yan sneered coldly. Xiao Yao fell silent for a moment before he said, Since you're stronger than anyone else, why did you look for me last night? Lin Yan was speechless. Before Lin Yan could reply, Xiao Yao added, I got lost last night and searched for you all night. Lost? Lin Yan stared at the man in disbelief. Didn't I send you the location? Lin Yan asked in surprise. Getting lost was just an accident. It has nothing to do with the location, replied Xiao Yao. Accident? Was it really an accident? Don't tell me this man doesn't understand GPS. In a huge manner. The man was dressed nobly, and had a cold expression. Brother Mu Feng. A little girl ran over, her face full of excitement. Mu Yun speaks slowly. The coldness on the man's face dissipated when he saw the little girl. Sister, it's sister. Mu Yun handed the phone to the man excitedly. Brother Mu Feng, look. It's sister. I want to tell the other brothers and sisters. I want to tell father and mother that it's sister. It was a standard Western building, an exquisitely designed palace. The surroundings were desolate and uninhabited, as if even vultures would not visit this place. It was hard to imagine that there would be such an indescribably majestic palace in this place. Ahem. In the dim palace, the man sat in a wheelchair, coughing from time to time. Lord Xiaoji, your body. An old man looked at the man and said softly. It doesn't matter, Xiaoji said softly with a smile. Lord Xiaoji, we've already found the best doctor. He should be able to maintain the current situation. The man's starry eyes seemed to be filled with the brilliance of starlight. Unfortunately, his almost flawless face was filled with a sickly white. My lord, before long, a young woman ran into the palace. Look, the woman walked up to Xiaoji and placed the phone in front of him. The moment he saw Lin Yin in the video, Xiaoji's eyes lit up in an indescribable way. Sir, is she? The woman looked at Xiaoji respectfully. Xiaoji stared at the video for a long time. After a while, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and there was a trace of a smile on his face. Oh, I found you. Announce the next book's group number. Yu Sheng's exclusive chat group, 7718373335. After entering the group, you can enter the exclusive chat group. How to enter the group? Friends who read books on QQ and Cloudrise Academy have left a private message. Screenshot of 6,000 plus fans. Screenshot of all subscriptions. Screenshot of all subscriptions. Screenshot of the record of at least 20 days of subscriptions within 30 days. Yu Sheng's exclusive chat group number, 915480666. Please fill in your information before entering the group. Chapter 977. It was an independent world, like a new continent that had never been discovered. Looking from afar, it was as if there was an immortal palace floating above the sky and below the clouds. The stone pillars on both sides towered into the clouds, as if connecting heaven and earth. Anyone who looked over would be completely captivated by this world. The sound of flowing water was endless, and hundreds of small streams intersected and converged. There were birds on the trees and beasts in the forest. The sounds of birds and beasts sounded like the sound of a zither. Holy land. Inside the mountain gate. At a glance, there were powerful evolved people everywhere. In this holy land, the number of innate evolved people and acquired evolved people was not much different. However, regardless of whether they were innate or acquired evolved people, they were equal in the holy land. There was no longer a secular view of nobility. Senior brother, look who this is. A 17 or 18-year-old youth looked at a man in white who was meditating and said. Hearing this, the man opened his eyes, and an overwhelming pressure of an evolved person shrouded in all directions. The youth's expression suddenly changed, and cold sweat seeped out of his forehead. Senior brother. The man frowned unhappily. Did I tell you not to disturb me when I'm cultivating? Senior brother, I have something urgent. Before the youth could finish, the man waved his hand impatiently. Go play with your other senior brothers and sisters. Don't talk nonsense with me here. I won't be responsible for accidental injuries. The youth's mouth twitched slightly. Senior brother, when will Master Holy Lord come back? The man in white closed his eyes. I don't know. Then, without waiting for the youth to continue, the man in white said faintly, You're very noisy. The youth looked at the video on the phone, then at the man in white. In the end, he did not continue to speak and turned to leave. Is that really senior sister? The youth looked confused. Senior sister was clearly dead, so the person in the video could not be senior sister Muyen. However, if it was not senior sister, why did he feel a little similar? Moreover, he felt a sense of familiarity at first glance. It was the kind of familiarity that he had not felt for a long time. When he first entered the Holy Land, the first person he met was senior sister Muyen. However, later on, senior sister Muyen passed away in an accident, and he was sad for a long time. Although many years had passed, he still could not get over it. I think it's senior sister. Senior sister is definitely not dead. Senior sister is so powerful, how could she die? I'm going to find her. The teenager's eyes were glued to Lin Yin, and he looked increasingly excited. Although the senior sister in his memories was still a little girl, he had a feeling that perhaps a miracle would really happen. He wanted to go down the mountain. China, Cloud Manor. In the past 2 days, Lin Yin had been harassed by countless calls. Lin Yin hadn't expected that the video would still be the top trending topic. From the initial surprise, to the doubts, and then to someone recognizing her and saying that it was a publicity stunt for a new show. Up until now, everyone was asking what show it was and when it would be released. Zhao Hongling's phone had been ringing nonstop. She wanted to know if Lin Yin was filming a new scene. If it wasn't, they could follow the theme and shoot a new movie with the same cast and crew. Lin Yin couldn't help but laugh. Original cast and crew? Was she going to get Xingchen and Ling Yu to film? Or was she going to find the man in black and promise to bring him along? Besides, she really didn't have time recently. The racing team had called several times, asking her to train with the new team. Chapter 978. Early in the morning, Lin Yin drove to the headquarters of the racing team in the country. She wanted to visit her grandfather on the way. The international competition would be held in Hua Nation soon. During this period, many large foreign teams had arrived in Hua Nation. The racing industry in the country was in a state of carnage. Although Lin Yin hadn't paid much attention to the racing industry in the country recently, the news on the internet was overwhelming. Lin Yin saw similar news from time to time. Today a certain team was being challenged. The next day, a famous team was being challenged by a foreign team. The racing team wasn't looking good either. The difference in ability between the ordinary teams was too great. They couldn't deal with them at all. The new strong team, that had been formed by the Chinese team, hadn't been able to display their strength yet. The Chinese racing industry had been challenged by foreign teams, and the Chinese team had lost all face. That was why they had urgently requested all the new teams to undergo training. Lin Yin parked her car and walked into the hospital. Lin Yin stood outside her grandfather's ward and saw He Lufeng sleeping soundly on the chair. Lin Yin pinched He Lufeng's nose as she entered the ward. Huh? He Lufeng opened his eyes and stared at Lin Yin in confusion. Sister. He Lufeng stood up immediately when he snapped back to his senses. You're still in a daze, Lin Yin said to He Lufeng. He Lufeng shook his head frantically. No. I just fell asleep. I was just taking a nap. Lin Yin glanced at He Lufeng. Before she could say anything, He Muyun walked in. Mom. Lin Yin was startled when she saw He Muyun. How had she known that her grandfather was hospitalized? Xiaoyan, how could you hide such a serious matter from me? He Muyun glanced at Lin Yin with a frown. He Lufeng. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to He Lufeng. He Lufeng hastily replied. Sister, you can't blame me. I let it slip, but I didn't do it on purpose. Lin Yin was speechless. She couldn't blame him for letting it slip. Xiaoyan, if Xiaofeng didn't tell me, how long were you going to keep it a secret? He Muyun glanced at Lin Yin. Mom, I just don't want you to worry. Besides, Grandpa's condition is stable now. Lin Yin replied softly. Xiaofeng has told me everything. I didn't expect your uncle to be such a person. He Muyun sighed. I will find a time to meet up with your uncle and Shuya. Mom, don't look for them. Lin Yin shook her head. Given He Muyun's personality, she would definitely be at a disadvantage if she went to them. That was also the main reason why Lin Yin hadn't told her about her grandfather. How could Shuya do such a thing? I'm not a good mother. He Muyun sat on one side of the bed, her eyes filled with sadness. Mom, it's not your fault. Lin Yin, who was sitting next to He Muyun, glared at He Lufeng. This good-for-nothing couldn't accomplish anything. It's my fault. I didn't teach your sister well. I have to take responsibility for your sister's current state, said He Muyun softly. Aunt, it's not your fault. Suddenly, He Lufeng glanced at He Muyun and said, as the saying goes, it's the father's fault if he doesn't teach his son. It's the teacher's fault if he doesn't teach his son. It's not suitable for a child to learn. And it's not suitable for an old man to learn. If you want to blame someone, blame second uncle. No, it's Lin Yuedong's fault. It's the teacher's fault. It's not your fault. Chapter 979. I didn't know that you were so cultured. Ling Yin glanced at He Lufeng. The corners of He Lufeng's mouth curled up as he smiled proudly. Sister, you're underestimating me. I'm not only cultured but I'm also brave. Ling Yan, who couldn't be bothered with He Lufeng, glanced at He Muyun. Mom, this has nothing to do with you. You don't have to pay for other people's mistakes. Everyone has different thoughts, so they are destined to do different things. After chatting with He Muyun for a while, He Muyun's mood improved. Xiaofeng, I asked you to get a nurse to take your grandfather's temperature. Did you do that? He Muyun asked He Lufeng. He Lufeng was startled. I forgot. It's okay. You guys go ahead. I'll take care of him. He Muyun sighed. Ling Yan was speechless. Okay, second aunt. I'll go with sister. He Lufeng nodded eagerly. Sister, let's go. I'm ready. He Lufeng glanced at Lin Yan. Where are we going? Lin Yan was startled. Didn't you say that there would be a training session for the Chinese Racing Guild today? I think I have to go and contribute to the guild, said He Lufeng seriously. Lin Yan stared at He Lufeng and frowned. Are you still asleep? He Lufeng was speechless. Take good care of grandfather. When you're free, go to the company and keep an eye on the 2 cleaners. Lin Yan instructed He Lufeng. Which 2 cleaners? He Lufeng was dumbfounded. Zhang San and Li Si, replied Lin Yan. Oh, those 2 good-for-nothings. They only eat and don't work. Every day, they clamor to eat before they reach the restaurant. They even ask me to borrow money. I'm not familiar with them. Let's get 2 cleaners, replied He Lufeng. Don't be a busybody. Lin Yan told He Lufeng impatiently. All right. Oh yeah, sister. What new show are you filming recently? Your video is trending. He Lufeng asked curiously. He Muyun's expression changed when she heard He Lufeng's words. Naturally, He Muyun had seen the video that night. If it was an ordinary trending video, the evolved humans would not pay any attention to it. However, the video from that night was definitely not an ordinary video. It involved a few evolvers, including Master Muyang. There had never been a fight between evolvers that had been filmed and posted on the internet. Moreover, it had been widely spread. Many evolvers had seen the video. Ordinary people might not be able to tell what was going on. But evolvers were different. They could see the key to it with just a glance. Currently, the video had already spread among the evolved humans in China. It was said that 2 extremely powerful evolved humans had appeared in China. After the battle, the female evolved human had a slight upper hand, while the other extremely powerful and mysterious evolved human had been forced to flee. After watching the video, He Muyun knew that something was wrong. However, the video had already been circulated, so she couldn't stop it. Xiaoyan, don't cause trouble and don't get into a fight. Do you understand? He Muyun told Lin Yan meaningfully. Mom, that video was fake. We were just filming it for fun. It wasn't a fight. Lin Yan told He Muyun guiltily. Xiaoyan, regardless of whether it's real or fake, you have to be careful when you're outside. Be careful, okay? He Muyun told Lin Yan. Lin Yan nodded. Mom, I know. End of this chapter. Chapter 980. After leaving the hospital, Lin Yan drove to the Chinese Guild headquarters. The Chinese Guild headquarters was already packed with people. Most of them were outstanding racers from the Chinese teams, as well as some staff from foreign guilds. Miss Lin. Chi Feng stopped Lin Yan the moment she reached the headquarters. The headquarters are looking for you, right? Lin Yan nodded and replied. I've been bombarding them with calls these past few days. I was busy a few days ago, so I couldn't rush over to train. The higher-ups even threw a tantrum. You're the only one who hasn't come these days. Chi Feng grinned. But it's fine. You're my navigator. You just need to get used to me. I've already explained to the headquarters. Without giving Lin Yan a chance to speak, Chi Feng added, Oh yeah, Miss Lin. Do you have a new show to air? Chi Feng handed his phone to Lin Yan, who was playing the trending video. Lin Yan was speechless. Miss Lin, this movie is very good. This fight scene is too exciting. Let me tell you, I've been a martial arts fan since I was young. I especially like martial arts dramas. I've watched almost all martial arts dramas. Chi Feng smiled at Lin Yan. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard him. How could this be called a martial arts drama? Even if it was a drama, it could only be considered an urban fight scene. Yeah, filming. Lin Yan chuckled softly. Do you want to spoil it? I watched this video yesterday, and I really liked it. The actor in the black robe is very skilled. He should be a famous action actor, said Chi Feng. Lin Yan was speechless. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yan chuckled softly. This is just a game that a few of us are filming. Actually, I have a friend who has a martial arts dream since he was young. In order to fulfill his dream, we used our phones to film it. I didn't expect someone to record it. Really? Chi Feng's eyes lit up when he heard Lin Yan's explanation. Really? Lin Yan nodded repeatedly, almost swearing to the heavens. Miss Lin, can I ask you for a favor? Chi Feng stared at Lin Yan nervously. What is it? Lin Yan asked curiously. Can you let me join your team? I also have a martial arts dream. This video is really good. Can I participate? Chi Feng asked hastily. Lin Yan was stunned when she heard Chi Feng's request. Where am I going to find a team for him? I hope it's the original cast in the video. This time we'll shoot for a longer time. At least half an hour. Ms. Lin is a professional actress. It should be very simple, Chi Feng continued. Lin Yan was speechless. This was harder than ascending to the heavens. How was she going to find the black-robed man? However, Chi Feng had helped her so much previously. When Su Kai targeted her, it was Chi Feng who stood up and made her his navigator. That was why she could stay in the guild's new fleet. Hence, Lin Yan didn't know how to reject him. Miss Lin, is there a problem? Chi Feng asked softly. Mr. Chi, it's like this. You know, even if this is a small video, if it's half an hour, the budget will be quite high especially. Before Lin Yan could finish, Chi Feng suddenly chuckled and said, I thought it was something serious. Miss Lin, it's okay. I'll pay for all the expenses. I'll also pay for the actors you hired. Lin Yan's eyes lit up. Mr. Chi, they aren't cheap. Did you see their skills in the video? It wasn't over yet. There would be more later. End of this chapter. Chapter 981. I understand. Chi Feng nodded. Money isn't a problem. I just want to fulfill my martial arts dream. Is this enough? Lin Yan was excited when she heard Chi Feng's offer. Sure. Miss Lin, that's great. Can you call your friend in the video out? I'll treat everyone to a meal. You can also tell me about the script and see if there's anything else to prepare. Chi Feng grinned. Don't worry, Mr. Chi. Leave everything to me. I'll even find the man in the black robe for you. Lin Yan patted her chest and promised. All right, see you later, Miss Lin. Chi Feng turned around and left. Lin Yan glanced at the time. There were still 40 minutes before the meeting. Lin Yan whipped out her phone and called Xing Chen. Miss Lin? Xing Chen sounded a little surprised, as though he hadn't expected Lin Yan to call him. Xing Chen, are you busy these few days? Lin Yan asked with a smile. These few days? I'm fine. Okay, that's good. I have something to tell you. Lin Yan immediately told Xing Chen about her agreement with Chi Feng. When he learned that Lin Yan wanted him to recreate the scene of that night and shoot a new video, he was stunned. Miss Lin, isn't this a little inappropriate? In cloud manner, Xing Chen looked bitter. Was it appropriate for him to film? He had to recreate the scene of that night. He was the one who had been beaten up, so he felt offended. Not only you, but Ling Yu as well. The client said that the original crew has to be mobilized. None of you can escape. Lin Yin grinned. The original crew? Xing Chen sounded shocked. Miss Lin, how is that possible? Do we have to find the man in the black robe? Xing Chen's words made Lin Yin fall into deep thought. Indeed, Xing Chen and Ling Yu were easy to deal with. But the man in the black robe? Lin Yan's eyes flickered as she smiled. Don't worry about the man in the black robe. I'll think of a way to deal with him. You and Ling Yu should be prepared. I'll give you a lot of money. Lin Yan hung up. The corners of Xing Chen's mouth twitched. Did he look like someone who lacked money? He had given her money and begged her not to torture him. Lin Yan pondered the man's body and movements, and decided that Wei Shufeng was a suitable candidate. Lin Yan called Wei Shufeng. Lin Yan, what were you filming that night? Before Lin Yan could respond, Wei Shufeng interjected. Wei Shufeng, have you seen the video? Lin Yan grinned at him. I have. It's pretty good. Is it a new show? Wei Shufeng asked. Let's not talk about that for now. I intend to film a 30-minute movie with my friend. You can act as my black-robed man. What do you think? Name a price. Lin Yan grinned. Sure, it's a friendly cameo. Just give me this number as a token of appreciation. Oh, sorry to bother you. Goodbye. She didn't give him a chance to speak. Instead, she hung up the call. Based on Wei Shufeng's reputation, he was offering a very low price. It was considered a friendly price, but she couldn't afford it. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled into a smile as she dialed the number. At this moment, Wang Jingyang was playing games in the apartment. Why are you looking for me? Wang Jingyang clutched the game controller with one hand and yelled hastily. Hurry up and tell me. I'm in the last round. Chapter 982. Wang Jingyang tilted his head and replied nonchalantly. Why are you looking for me? I'm busy. It took me 2 weeks to reach this stage. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Pup, I have something to tell you. Lin Yan's voice came through the phone. Hurry up and tell me. Wang Jingyang stuck out his tongue as he pressed the controller frantically. The black-robed man. You don't need me to tell you. You should know what's going on. Wang Jingyang froze when he heard Lin Yan. On the screen, the character that Wang Jingyang was controlling had been killed by the monster. Over, huh? The black-robed man? What black-robed man? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Wang Jingyang replied sheepishly. Pup, you don't know who the black-robed man is? I don't know. How would I know who the black-robed man is? What does it have to do with me? Really? Wang Jingyang snapped back to his senses after some time. Lin Yan, what do you mean? Wang Jingyang, why are you pretending? You know everything? Wang Jingyang put the game controller aside and frowned deeply. Although Lin Yan had removed his black robe that night, she couldn't have seen his face. How could she have discovered his identity? Xiaoyan, listen to me. Actually, it's not what you think. Wang Jingyang frowned as he spoke. What nonsense are you talking about? Have you seen the video on the trending page? I know. I've seen it. But I didn't expect that there would be such a mistake. Wang Jingyang replied. It's good that you've seen it. Let me tell you, we were filming a movie that day. We were just having fun. Now that the black-robed man is no longer filming, you have to replace him. I will pay you. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Say something. Lin Yan, damn you. You gave me a fright. Wang Jingyang heaved a sigh of relief. He had really thought that he had been exposed. Gave you a fright? Oh no. I mean, how much did you pay me? Lin Yan hung up after settling the matter with Wang Jingyang. This time, there was no problem. Wang Jingyang and the black-robed man's figure were not much different. When the time came, he would be wrapped in a black robe, and no one would be able to see anything. Before Lin Yan could mull over this, the meeting began. Lin Yan rushed into the meeting room. Miss Lin, how is it? Qi Feng sat beside Lin Yan and asked her softly. Lin Yan nodded and smiled at Qi Feng. Don't worry. It's all settled. It's definitely the same cast. You're the main character. Main character? Qi Feng was stunned for a moment before he smiled and said, I feel that I can just be a supporting role. I can't act well either. It's fine. I can teach you if you can't act well. Lin Yan grinned. Okay, Miss Lin. When the time comes, we can also post this video online, Qi Feng said. Sure. Lin Yan grinned. You pay. Don't talk about posting it online. You can even post it on the moon. Who is Lin Yan? At this moment, an old man from the guild swept his gaze across the conference table expressionlessly. I am. Lin Yan raised her hand and glanced at the old man. Member Lin Yan, you're really arrogant. The guild has looked for you several times, but you always have an excuse to reject them. Why are you here today? The old man glanced at Lin Yan with disdain. Chapter 983. Old Liang, Miss Lin Yan is an actress. She has work to do. Didn't you see that Miss Lin has to film in the middle of the night? She's already the top trending topic. Sukai glanced at the old man and chuckled softly. Actress? The old man glanced at Lin Yan. Since she's an actress and she's so busy, she should focus on acting. Why did she join the new team? The team is so hard. Wouldn't it be a waste for a celebrity? Lin Yan glanced at the old man with a frown. This old man was clearly targeting her. It seemed like Sukai did have some connections in the Chinese racing team. However, she didn't know who her relative was. Old Liang, Miss Lin Yan is my navigator. We have been training outside for the past few days, Qi Feng told the old man. Hearing that, old Liang's gaze landed on Qi Feng, and he immediately said, Qi Feng, I don't care whose navigator she is, and I don't care what her identity is. All I know is that she's a member of the new team formed by the Chinese guild. Since she's a member of the new team, she has to be disciplined. Otherwise get lost. Don't be angry, old Liang. Miss Lin didn't do it on purpose. She definitely won't do it again. Qi Feng grinned. Old Liang's position in the Chinese racing team wasn't low, so Qi Feng couldn't say much. Miss Lin Yan, I don't care if you're an actress or not. However, since you have joined the new team established by the Chinese team, I hope that you will follow the rules. You have to know that given your status, it's a miracle that you were able to join our team. I don't know what the management is thinking. Why did they let a newcomer like you join? Old Liang glared at Lin Yan coldly. Miss Lin, look at all the outstanding racers here. Which one of them isn't more famous than you? Which one of them isn't more experienced than you? However, none of them missed training. Only you. Old Liang. I agree with everything else, but Miss Lin Yan should be more famous than everyone here. After all, Miss Lin Yan is an actress. She's a celebrity, so it's understandable. Sukai grinned. Miss Lin Yan, if you want to act, you should leave the team and focus on your acting. Don't drag the team down. I really don't know what the management is thinking. How could they allow a newbie like you to join the team? Old Liang retorted coldly. Qi Feng glanced at Lin Yan and sighed silently. Old Liang was a good friend of Sukai's relative. They belonged to the same faction. Sukai must have spoken to Old Liang, which was why he was targeting Lin Yan today. All right. Lin Yan stood up and shrugged. Lin Yan, what are you doing? Old Liang frowned as Lin Yan turned to leave. This is a meeting. You guys go ahead. I have to go filming. I'm very busy, so don't contact me unless it's urgent. Make an appointment with my manager, or I won't have time. Lin Yan chuckled softly without turning her head. Didn't he say that he had the airs of a star? If he didn't let them see what a star's airs were, it would really be a waste of them. You're simply lawless. Where do you think this is? You can come and go as you please. This seemed to be the first time Old Liang, had encountered such a situation. He was furious. There had never been a racer who had dared to leave his meeting. Chapter 984. Listen to what Lin Yan had just said. She was very busy. Don't look for her unless it's urgent. Do you have to make an appointment with her manager? This was simply preposterous. Even if it's an international competition, I can come and go as I please. My legs are on my body. What can you do to me? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Lin Yan, how dare you? How could you join a Chinese team? Before old Liang could finish, Lin Yan sneered coldly. I didn't want to join them. You guys begged me to join. Lin Yan left the meeting room without looking back. Qi Feng stared at Lin Yan in astonishment. He hadn't expected Lin Yan to be so hot-tempered. Even Elder Liang of China's Racing Guild did not give him any face. If word of what happened today were to spread, Elder Liang would probably lose face. Su Kai sneered coldly as she watched Lin Yan leave. Once she stepped out of this door, she could forget about coming back in. The Chinese racing team wouldn't tolerate such a willful racer, let alone a newcomer like Lin Yan. Lin Yan had just left the office when a group of foreign racers approached her. One of the racers whistled as he walked past Lin Yan. Lass, are you a racer? Do you want to go out and play tonight? Lin Yan glanced at the racer and replied without turning her head. Go back and play with your mother. F***CK. Is she a racer from China? What's her name? Why is she so arrogant? Look at her back. Doesn't she look like someone? Does she look like your ex-girlfriend? Haha. She does look a little like her. The middle-aged man behind the racers frowned as he watched Lin Yan's back. Why would that person come to China? Why would she appear at the headquarters of the Chinese racing team? Had she joined the Chinese racing team? The middle-aged man's eyes gleamed coldly. Indeed, Yeva rarely showed her face in public. However, the members of the racing team had seen her face before. That woman was definitely Yeva. There was no doubt about it. However, Yeva had been banned from racing for life. She couldn't join any team in any country. How dare the Chinese racing team allow Yeva, who had been banned for life, to join them? Leader, what's wrong? Seeing that the middle-aged man did not speak, the foreign racers asked curiously. Nothing. The middle-aged man shook his head and took out his phone to make a call. President Qi, it's me, Avis. I'm at your guild. Are you there? I have something to discuss with you. Yes, right now it's very serious. At this moment in the president's office. President Qi, is that Avis from the Foreign Racing Guild? Seeing President Qi's displeased expression, the higher-ups exchanged glances. President Qi looked displeased. You allowed their racing teams to provoke us everywhere in our territory. And now they're here again. Do they really think we don't have any good racers in China? President Qi, there's still a gap between our strength and theirs. Just bear with it as much as you can. It'll be good for them to restrain themselves. We've been under a lot of pressure recently, especially with the rumors outside. You also know that this is the age of the internet. One of the higher-ups sighed. The difference in strength was too great. Other than enduring, there was no other way. End of chapter. Chapter 985. Sigh, a lot of netizens are talking about us on the internet. Previously, foreign racing teams kicked a few of our excellent racing teams. It was all recorded and uploaded to the internet. One of the higher-ups sighed heavily. There were more and more criticisms online. If this went on, it would be a huge blow to the country's racing association. If it had just been a clash between teams, it wouldn't have caused such a stir. However, it had escalated to a competition between countries, between Chinese teams and foreign teams. This year's international competition had been held in China. It had originally been a time for the Chinese teams to hold their heads up high, but in the end, they had been trampled on by foreign teams. Videos of foreign teams challenging them had even been uploaded online. Naturally, it had caused a huge uproar. "President, take a look." One of the higher-ups handed his phone to President Xi. "The video of our team being challenged has been uploaded online. It's the top trending topic now." Top trending topic. President Xi frowned. "I remember someone telling me that it's Lin Yan. I think it's because of a new show. In the past, yes. However, when the video of him being challenged was released, Lin Yan's video was overtaken." President Xi was speechless. "This is outrageous. Who posted this video online?" President Xi said angrily. "I'm not sure. It must have been posted by a passerby." President Xi's expression was ugly. He really wanted to teach those arrogant foreign teams a lesson. Unfortunately, they hadn't reached that level yet. Although they had formed a new team, they still needed time to get used to it. As he spoke, there was a knock on the door. "Please come in," President Xi said. A second later, the man pushed the door open. "Hehe, Vice President Avis, please take a seat." After seeing the man, President Xi immediately put on a smile. This man was the vice president of a foreign racing association. He was also the one who had led the team to the country. "President Xi, I think the Hua Nation's Racing Guild owes me an explanation," Avis said coldly as he glanced at the crowd. Hearing Avis's words, President Xi and the other guild executives looked baffled. Give him an explanation? What kind of explanation? The team he had brought had provoked the Chinese team. It was already good enough that they didn't ask him for an explanation. Yet they had to give him an explanation? Is there something wrong with your brain? Of course, this was what he thought. But he couldn't say it out loud. "Vice President Avis, I don't think we understand what you mean. Is there a misunderstanding?" President Xi asked. "Misunderstanding? You're telling me it's a misunderstanding?" Avis stared at President Xi and sneered. "President Xi, don't you know what the Chinese guild has done? How dare you tell me it's a misunderstanding? Don't tell me you've forgotten the rules that every racing guild has to abide by." "Haha, there are too many agreements. Vice President Avis, just speak your mind," President Xi said. "President Xi, you should know that no matter which country a racer is from, as long as she is banned by the local racing guild, she will not be able to continue her racing career. No country's racing guild will accept her, right?" Elvis said. "Of course." President Xi nodded. Chapter 986. President Xi was perplexed. He didn't know what Vice President Avis meant by that. "President Xi, in that case, why did you accept racers who have been banned for life?" Avis glanced at President Xi. As soon as Avis said that, President Xi and several other executives looked at each other. "Vice President Avis, are you saying that our Chinese guild has accepted racers from your country who have been banned for life?" One of the executives asked in surprise. "Yes, that's what I meant." "That's right." Avis nodded. "That's impossible." President Xi replied firmly. "We don't have racers from other countries, especially the teams and racers who are participating in the international competition. They are all Chinese." "Haha, I clearly saw it just now." "President Xi, don't say such pompous words." "I have concrete evidence," Avis said. President Xi fell silent for a moment before replying. "Since Vice President Avis has said so, I would like to ask which racer it is?" They were very strict with foreign racers. It was impossible for something like what Avis had said to happen. However, President Xi couldn't be sure of Avis's words. "Yeva was recruited by the Chinese racing team." Elvis replied. Everyone, including President Xi, was taken aback by Avis's words. Immediately after, several senior executives of the Chinese guild laughed at the same time. President Xi pinched his forehead and glanced at Avis. "Are you kidding me? Which Yeva? The racetrack's Grim Reaper?" "That's right," Avis replied. Ha ha ha. President Xi was so infuriated that he burst out laughing. What was Avis trying to do? Was he insulting them? If they really had a legendary racer like Yeva, would they have been challenged by the team they had brought with them? Would they have even been recorded and uploaded to the internet? Was he trying to create trouble out of nothing? Vice President Avis, I know that there are many excellent racers in your country, but you don't have to use the racetrack's Grim Reaper to humiliate us. Don't you think that's ridiculous? President Xi's expression turned cold. President Xi, are you still pretending? Avis sneered. Vice President Avis, did you say that you saw Yeva in our guild? One of the higher-ups glanced at Avis. Of course. Avis nodded and threw the phone in front of President Xi. When he saw the photo on Avis's phone, President Xi looked puzzled. What do you mean? President Xi wasn't a stranger to the person in the photo. He was a popular actor in China and a member of the He family's team. He had recently been recruited into the new team formed by the Chinese Guild and became Qi Feng's navigator. Lin Yan was an actress, so it was normal for Avis to have her photo. However, he wasn't sure why Avis had shown him Lin Yan's photo. President Xi, she is Yeva. Elvis hissed coldly. What? As soon as Avis finished speaking, President Xi instantly stood up from his chair. His expression was one of shock, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Was Yeva the famous racetrack's Grim Reaper who had groomed Lang Mang, the racetrack butcher, and many other famous racers? End of chapter. Chapter 987. However, President Xi calmed down almost instantly. He felt that Avis's words were nonsense. Everyone knew that Lin Yan was an actress from the country. She had been a hot topic recently. How could she be the racetrack's Grim Reaper? Either Avis had mistaken her for someone else, or he was deliberately provoking them. Vice President Avis, we will investigate this matter. If everything is as you say, we will definitely give you an explanation. One of the executives chuckled. All right, I'll wait for your news. Don't play any tricks. Avis slammed the door and left. After Avis left, the expressions of the Chinese Guild executives turned cold. Is there something wrong with his brain? He said that Lin Yan is Yeva? Are you trying to humiliate our racing guild? I think he is trying to humiliate us. President, isn't Qi Xiaoyuan close to Lin Yan? Why don't you call him? One of the executives glanced at President Qi. I don't think that's necessary. Do you really believe what Avis said? Of course I don't believe him. It's best if I ask him. President Qi immediately called Qi Xiaoyuan and asked him to come to his office. Qi Xiaoyuan pushed the door open and entered his office. Dad, I'm off today, so I came to see you. How's the preparation? Qi Xiaoyuan grinned at President Qi. However, Qi Xiaoyuan realized that his father's expression didn't look too good after he finished speaking. Qi Xiaoyuan, what's your relationship with Lin Yan? President Qi asked. Huh, Lin Yan? Qi Xiaoyuan was startled. He had no idea why his father would suddenly mention this. She's a good friend. Dad, you're an adult. Don't tell me you don't even have the right to make friends? Qi Xiaoyuan replied in surprise. His father had never interfered with his circle of friends. What was going on today? Xiaoyuan, here's the thing. Today, Vice President Avis came looking for trouble. He insisted that Lin Yan is the racetrack's Grim Reaper. The president is furious. He knows that you're close to Lin Yan, so he came to ask you. It's fine. Don't worry. F***CK. Qi Xiaoyuan was startled. Lin Yan was seen by the vice president of a foreign guild? Seeing that Qi Xiaoyuan's expression wasn't right, the higher-ups looked at each other. They had a feeling that Qi Xiaoyuan was hiding something from them. Dad, don't listen to Avis. Yeva is Chinese. Why should they ban her from the competition? Qi Xiaoyuan said anxiously. As soon as Qi Xiaoyuan said that, the expressions of the higher-ups present, including President Qi, changed. Xiaoyuan, What do you mean by that? Don't tell me that Lin Yan is really Yeva. One of the executives stepped forward and grabbed Qi Xiaoyuan's wrist. Uncle Li, be gentler. You're breaking my bones. Qi Xiaoyuan frowned. Alright, I'm sorry. Xiaoyuan, tell me the truth. What happened? Isn't Lin Yan an actress? Who is she? The senior asked anxiously. Qi Xiaoyuan sighed heavily. He had been discovered by a foreign guild, and they had even come to question him. He couldn't hide it anymore. Dad, Uncle Li, boss didn't allow me to reveal her identity. I didn't mean to hide it from you. Can you turn a blind eye? Qi Xiaoyuan sounded guilty. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.